Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, beautiful people on this beautiful, beautiful planet you get to call home for such a tiny amount of time. People are so caught up in the conditioned mind, they've not a fucking clue who they are. They truly believe the story playing out in the mind. They don't just believe their own story, they believe other people's stories. It's the most bizarre thing I've witnessed, and thank fuck I've come to realise this in this lifetime. I was going to video a window cleaner, but I've thought better of it. I didn't video the other window cleaner, so I'm not going to video this window cleaner. But they both believe in the same story. They both believe in some other window cleaner's story that they've probably seen online, or that's probably been filtered down to them, and then that becomes their conditioned mind. They truly believe that another entity, another human being walking this planet shouldn't be going knocking on other people's doors. They truly believe it. So in that context, there shouldn't be a Sainsbury's and Tesco. There shouldn't be an Asda and a Morrison's. There shouldn't be 4 barbers in Norwich. There shouldn't be 2 barbers in Adlington, according to the window cleaner's conditioned mind. They're resisting life. They are absolutely terrified of losing any money, any business. That all comes from conditioning. If you're not resistant, if there's no resistance to life, then they're trying to control what is happening in the world. They're trying to control the narrative because of their own conditioning. Now, if you're trying to control and manipulate life on the outside, it's going to destroy you on the inside. The more you come up into thought, the more you come up into conditioning, the more suffering there is. You will only ever suffer because of the thoughts in your head. That dream, for me, that encounter with that window cleaner, as soon as this video ends, is over. He's not a part of my dream anymore. He's not a part of what is happening in my lifetime. Window cleaning is about a grain of sand who I am as an entity. But they truly believe that I shouldn't be knocking on people's doors. And it's not that they believe it, they come and give me shit about it. It's the funniest thing ever. And now when I walked away from the window cleaner before, on purpose, I said, I'm going to take all your business off you. I'm going to go in there where you just gone greenhouse and I'm going to take it off you. If I wanted to tie that man up in knots, I absolutely could. Because all you need to do is send people up into thought. Send people up into the conditioning, into the mind. And it'll destroy them. You only need to say a few things to people. And they're absolutely screwed. He's just giving me dirty looks now walking back into my home. Because he's stuck in a thought. He's stuck in the conditioned mind. He knows no different. Forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. Them window cleaners have not a clue that they're listening to something. They're listening to somebody else's story. They're unaware that is happening. They're unaware that they're so meshed up in this ego, this story, that the beingness behind that doesn't have a problem. I wouldn't go to another window cleaner and say X, Y, and Z. Just wouldn't even cross my mind. Because it doesn't bother me. I don't come up into a story. I don't come up into what my dad had told. His dad might have been a window cleaner. And that's been filtered down into his beingness. Into his ego, sorry. The beingness is always there. The beingness, there is no fear, there is no worry, there is no anxiety. It's just ever present, ever witnessing life. Without any judgment, without any resistance. I've been through suffering and struggle. I know where that man is at. I know where the other guy is at. They're stuck in a story in the mind. They'll never even go into seeking. They might do. Breathwork, meditation, trying to find out who they are. Hopefully in this lifetime they go into discovery. I've been believing that fucking story the whole of my lifetime. I've wasted my lifetime listening to something that isn't real. I just laugh at it. Because it is so... The mind is disturbed. It's distorted. It's delusional. How can you ever be somebody else's story? You can't. But people believe that they are. People believe that conditioning until the day they die. Whole lifetime. That man will probably believe his whole life that another entity shouldn't be knocking on people's doors. That is fucking mad, isn't it? It's the maddest thing I've ever heard. And that's true. So it's obviously something that is it's obviously a story that window cleaners are telling themselves. It's absolutely, it's laughable. And do I feel so? I do, yeah, I'm honest, I do feel sorry for them. Because if they believe that tiny little thing, that another human being should not be knocking on other people's doors, then what else do they fucking believe? What else? They believe in everything they've been told, haven't they? Every story that they're being told, they believe in. When none of it is real. And in that emptiness of thought, in the letting go, is peace. Is no disturbance. Is liberation. Once this video ends, that ceases to exist in this dream for me. It doesn't exist anymore. So that moment with that window cleaner will be alive and true every moment for me. I'll come with an open heart in every moment, but it's not going to be like that for that man. He's going to be so far now, even worse, because I said I'm going to take all his business off him, which I was only messing about, but he'll believe that. So every moment that I come into contact with that window cleaner, he's going to go up into thought. He's going to go up into the conditioned mind. He's going to go up into the story. That moment could be alive and true for him. But he's going to choose to go up into that mind. He's going to choose to listen to the conditioning. So that moment will be alive and true for me in the next time I see him. But it's not going to be. And I truly appreciate that, and I understand that. And I come to that with love. Forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. If he was to come to me and give me loads of shit next time, if he was to come to me and give me dirty looks, or keep staring at me when I'm walking past, or give me these, forgive him, Father, because he knows not what he does. He doesn't know that he's listening to something that isn't real. He doesn't know that his beingness has been veiled by the mind. And he's walking about with this. He's now got an extra filter into that mind through one thing, through two things. There's two more filters now that is covering up that beingness. He's got one filter of people shouldn't be going knocking on people's doors. That's conditioning. That's a story that he's been told and he believes. And then another filter, which I put that filter in there on purpose today. I've purposely said that to him to filter him a little bit more. To drip feed that story into him a little bit more. So maybe he comes to realise that fucking hell, this isn't real. This isn't these stories. I even said to him that the beings have been veiled by the mind. They believe in a story that isn't real. And he walked away. He didn't want to talk to me anymore. I don't know what you mean. And walked away. And yeah. But people will. because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that what they've been told isn't the truth. They'd rather live whole lifetimes listening to a story that isn't real. Listening to what mummy told you, what daddy told you, what your friends have told you. So that extra filter that I've put in there today, that I'm going to go and take all your business off you. Watch his reaction every time he comes into contact with me now. He'll go up into a story, and I've done it on purpose just to observe his reaction. Because I'm in the state of beingness. I don't come up once this end, that dream like state ceases to exist for me. It doesn't exist anymore. Once these words leave my mouth, they don't exist. That situation doesn't exist anymore. It's not here in the dream anymore. Unless that person comes into contact with me again, and then that person will be in my dream in that moment. That moment then is alive and true for me in every moment. I've got an open heart in every moment. It's only somebody's conditioned mind that you're ever dealing with. You're not. It's very rare that you'll come into contact with beingness. Somebody that isn't the ego. So you're only ever coming into contact with conditioned mind. So I put that filter on that window cleaner on purpose. To see his reaction every time that I come into contact with him. He just gave me a dirty look a minute ago. He could do something else next time. All because of a story that is playing out in his mind. And that happens for every single entity walking this planet. You could come into contact with 10 different people. I'm the same in every moment. It is only your conditioning that will see me different. I could come into contact with 10 different people. Every one of them people is going to have a different reaction because of their own conditioning. Because of the story that they're telling themselves. How can that be? I'm the same, aren't I? I come into contact with another 10 different entities and I wave and smile. Every one of them people is going to have a different reaction. Because of what they perceive. Because of their own conditioning. Because of the story playing out in the mind. It is not who they are. So for two window cleaners to come and tell me to not knock on people's doors, that is coming from a story. Forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. They don't know that they're listening to something that isn't real. I put that extra filter in there today that I'm going to go and take all your business off you. On purpose, to gauge his reaction next time I see him. He's just given me a dirty look a minute ago, like I just said. That could then escalate into more stuff. That's coming, but I always record it, so it's beautiful. That is only coming from a story playing out in the mind. Once you realise this, that you're only ever dealing with somebody's conditioning, then every moment is alive and true. Every moment is exactly as it's supposed to be for you, without any resistance to life. Without trying to control and manipulate the outside in order for you to feel okay. That's the only reason people do that, so that they feel okay. They'll manipulate and control everything around them, so the ego feels okay, so the story feels okay, so the conditioning stays the same. People are terrified of letting go of all that. But behind that, I am telling you, your suffering ends at the end of thought. This isn't my first rodeo into this. I run Sam's Warriors or whatever it be. I was in seeking, the seeking phase of this lifetime. I've been through suffering and struggle. I went through seeking, meditation, running groups, winning awards. I've been through all that. I'm now in the discovery part, looking at other people, how other people react in situations. Detaching from any sense of personhood, any sense of the story playing out in the mind. True beingness. What did Jesus say? You have to die to your ego to be reborn. That's dying to the story, to the conditioned mind. In that space is who you are. It's who everybody is. That is oneness. It's only ever the mind that will see different. It's only ever them filters that will judge, that will have opinions and views. I don't like this person, I like this person. I don't like that person, I like this food, but I don't like that food. I don't like people with ginger hair, but I like people with black hair. But where is that coming from? It's coming from your own condition. It's coming from samskaras. Samskaras are blockages. Some things you like, some things you don't like. It's all things that have happened throughout your lifetime that have brought you to that point to dislike or to judge, to have an opinion. Let go of it all. Let it all come up and be empty. Be calm. Be at peace. Detach. Whatever word you want to use. Just stop going up into the story in the mind. And I'm telling you, in that space of emptiness of thought is your liberation. In every moment, let go. When this video ends, that interaction ceases to exist. It doesn't exist for me anymore. It's not in my dream. When that person comes back into my consciousness, comes back into my awareness, then that person comes back into my dream. Then we can interact in that space with an open heart. I never go up in here anymore. I don't think it doesn't exist, does it? It doesn't exist in the dream. You could plan and predict and it's going to happen this way, it's going to happen. It doesn't fucking exist. Or carry on about what's happened in the past. It doesn't exist. You're keeping it alive because of the thoughts in your head. The only thing that exists now is this moment, talking to this camera, talking to thousands of people. This is the only moment. Once this ends, it's exactly the same when you're dreaming at night time. Once that dream is over, it doesn't exist. If you had a dream about going stabbing somebody, you wouldn't wake up from that dream and go to the police station and say, fuck me, I've just stabbed somebody. No, it doesn't exist. This now is just a vivid dream. This, what you're living, is just a vivid dream. There is only ever this moment. There is no past, there is no future. That only exists through the mind. Through the story, through the conditioning. That dream has not started, has it? It's not come into my awareness. I'm not witnessing anything because it's not here. Do you get me? So it's not alive in the dream, just like you're dreaming at night time. Till that dream starts to appear in that consciousness, in the dream, you're unaware of it. It doesn't exist until you start to dream it. Then you're aware of it. Once that dream is over, it's ended. You can take dreams at night time as exactly the same as what's happening during the day. Just during the day, it's more vivid. So there's nothing there. There's nothing happening. And at the night, you go to sleep. There's nothing happening. Then you start to dream. You're aware of the dream. Your consciousness becomes aware of that dream. You're dreaming. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm going to go here tomorrow. Oh, fucking beautiful. Fantastic. You're dreaming. But you're not coming up into mind. It's just happening. That dream is just happening. You're aware of it. Your consciousness is aware of it. You're not coming up into a story in the mind. It's just happening. Then that dream is over. Doesn't exist. You go back into a nice sleep. You might have another dream. Back into a nice sleep. You wake up. Doesn't exist, does it? You don't wake up and then believe that dream to be true. And then go about your day living from that dream. Thinking about that, oh, fuck me. It's exactly the same during the day. It's just that the mind, the ego, the story, the conditioning has veiled the beingness. The beingness is there in the dream. Otherwise you wouldn't be fucking dreaming. So that beingness is always there. Never goes anywhere. So you wake up out of that dream, you become identified with being a person again. You become identified with form. You start to believe the mind, the story, the conditioned mind. So you believe everything from the past. You start to predict your day. It's going to be like this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to say this to this person, I'm going to do this to this person. All the time that beingness is still there. Witnessing life, exactly the same in the dream state. That shit that's happened in the past doesn't exist, does it? Doesn't exist now in this moment. Nothing exist, does it? Doesn't exist while I'm talking to this camera. The only thing that says it's happening is this moment. Once these words leave my mouth, once I put this camera down, it doesn't exist in the dream. That can only ever continue through the thoughts in your head. So when you put two together, the nighttime and the daytime, it's exactly the same process. It's just during the day, it's more vivid. The dream is more vivid. And your mind's more active. You've been veiled by the mind more during the day. It's a beautiful place to be. When you're not worried about the past. When you're not planning, it doesn't exist. When you're not planning on predicting the future, it doesn't exist. There is no story. You don't come up into the conditioning. Because it doesn't exist. It's just that beings are walking this planet with the beingness, with the mind that's overtaken the beingness. The mind it's the mind that's in control of it. It's the matrix that is in control of everybody. It's the mind that has veiled everybody. And they believe the story. If you're the 1% of this population to come to truth, to realise you're not that, you can't be that. Then you're very, very lucky. Because some people live whole lifetimes believing something that isn't real. And they only, like the Buddhists say, there's only ever this present, and it's true. There's only ever this present moment. Nothing else exists. It only exists because of the conditioned mind. And that conditioned mind is just been drip-fed stories. So it believes the story. Detached from any story. And certainly don't believe any story what another entity is telling you about somebody else's story. It's like Chinese whispers. No wonder people walking about not a fucking clue who they are. What happens in Chinese whispers? You have 10 people on a line. By the time it gets to the last person, it's nothing. It's nowhere near the same as what the first person said. That's what's happening on this planet. It's being filtered down into entity. Story, conditioned mind, until that being is walking about not a fucking clue who they are. Believe in a Chinese whisper. Believe in something that can never be real. Live in the place of emptiness of thought in the moment. Nothing else exists. This is just a vivid dream. What a beautiful realization. When you come to realize that this is just a dream, nothing else exists unless it comes into my awareness. It doesn't exist unless I'm witnessing it, unless I'm aware of it, unless my consciousness is aware of it. It does not exist. It can only exist because of the story in your mind. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Namaste.